Welcome to Pastor's Chat today. We're looking at Revelation 18. We've been talking about the fall of Babylon, the economic, commercial, political Babylon of Antichrist, the last 3.5 years of the tribulation, and sometimes right near the end of the tribulation period, this city, this system will be destroyed by God himself. And so in the this chapter, we heard the voice of the mighty angel from heaven proclaiming first the voice of condemnation, the voice of judgment. Babylon, Babylon is fallen, is fallen. Pay her double back for her deeds. And then we saw the voice of separation, where another voice from heaven came saying, come out of her, my people. And God always calls his people out from the world to live separated, holy lives as peculiar people, citizens of heaven, not citizens of the earth, even as we sojourn and travel through this earth. And now, beginning in verse 9 through 19, as we read yesterday, you have the voice of lamentation, because when Babylon, the economic, luxury, pleasure-driven system of the world collapses before the very eyes of the world, the whole world laments, as we said yesterday. And that word lament, that word wail, means to cry loudly, a loud lamentation, as opposed to silent weeping. And it's the same word that's translated weep in Revelation 18 verse 11. At least 3 times in this passage we hear them weeping and wailing, weeping and crying aloud because of the destruction of their Babylon. God has brought an end to their life of luxury and wealth. Even their employees are weeping, verses 17 through 18. And then he gives an inventory of the wealth of these commodities, of the kings and the merchants and the shipmasters. Gold and silver and precious stones lead the list. And then the costly garments and items of different materials. And then the special wood that was, even in the day of Rome, was highly valued for the furniture that they could make with decorative cabinets and other luxury furnishings. And then the imported spices that were greatly sought in the day of Rome, both for food and personal use as perfumes. And the city of Rome had to depend upon imported goods, just as our major urban cities today need the truck drivers to bring in the goods from the farms and the manufacturers to the city, and it's imported in. And so did Rome in the day of the Apostle John. In fact, our great cities would starve if it weren't for the trucks and the transportation means that brings the goods into our cities. And then last on the list, and probably most sad of all, was the slaves and the souls of men. Boy, have you ever dreamed that we'd live in a day and even in America and all around the world where little girls 11, 12, 13 years old are taken and sold into sex slave? I mean, how sad is that? And the souls of men, people. Now, we're not saying that everyone becomes a slave during that time of the tribulation period. But even in the time of Rome, we were told that it was not unusual for 10,000 human beings to be auctioned off in one day. 10,000 in one day would be auctioned off in Rome, as people would be enslaved and captive in the Roman Empire. The Roman armies would take over countries and people groups and bring these people to Rome and then auction them off as slaves to be used in whatever manner people wanted to use them. Matter of fact, in the Roman Empire, it's estimated there were over 60 million slaves throughout the empire. People were treated like pieces of furniture in a house, bought and sold and used and abused. And my friend, that's what it's going to be like after the Antichrist first entices people with their appetites of pleasure and wealth and all that, and then he enslaves him. Oh, remember the Apostle Paul said, don't you know that whom you yield yourselves servants to obey, those servants and those slaves, you become slave to those things. And man, my friend, that's exactly what's happening, not only for people today, but it will be magnified in the tribulation period. But this kingdom of Antichrist, his Babylon, if it is the city of Rome where it is seated, will be destroyed, and everyone on the earth will weep and wail. There's great great lamentation. Well, God bless, and as we think about the fact we have Jesus today, and we can look up and know our citizenship is in heaven, and we won't be a part of that weeping and wailing. We'll be a part of what's going to happen in the last part of the chapter. Well, God bless you, and you have a wonderful, wonderful day.